Hey guys, everybody. Hey peeps. NFL Week 12 main slate. I'm going to blast through a bunch of information here quickly. I still have lineups to get in myself, and just recording and uploading this takes time. So this data is mostly all from about 10 a.m. update. So there may be some changes and things have changed, whatnot. So keep that in mind. Highest scoring projected implied teams on the day. These were the only ones above 25 points. Phillies in the showdown game, they were also above 25. Highest scoring games. Potential shootouts, even though this is with the spreads also, but Miami, Houston, Arizona, LAC, Seattle, Vegas, fairly high in the Green Bay, Philly shootout as well. Crazy low game, Carolina, Denver, 36, Jets, Bears, 38. Even though I say usually under 40 is a sucker bet, that actually looks too low to me. Giant spreads, Miami, huge favorite there. KC, a massive favorite there. I saw one stat that said, I believe last time Miami was favored by that much, it was like 11 years ago, and they didn't cover. But for what it's worth, I mean, these two would probably be the most obvious ones. And then, of course, these teams right here, all those look good for fantasy. As far as their projections, and this is what would make like unique lineups for Reignmakers, and I'll get into some DFS here as we go down. Pretty much the highest scoring lineup would be something like this. It was a Tua, Waddle, Hill stack with Jacobs, Walker, Mahomes, Kelsey, Wilson, Higgins, Hopkins, Smith with Metcalf and Lockett, Eckler, Pirine, Garoppolo with Samuel, Etienne, Adams, and Kamara, Jackson, White, McLaurin, Andrews, Connor, as of their last ones. So it was like 110, which is very high, but down to 86, which is sort of normal by the time you get to like a fourth or fifth unique lineup. My lineups were like that. On the rare, I had a couple, a 190, 180. Should get rid of that one. Core had a 90 and 280s. I'm still making adjustments on that. As far as their projected actual stacks of what's highest, keeping in mind of a superstar, the two-man stacks were actually Tua Hill, Tua Wilson. Some of these are running back quarterbacks, so keep that in mind. Tua Waddle, Herbert Eckler, both superstars. Mahomes, Kelsey, Smith, Walker, Carr, Adams, Lamar, Andrews, Garoppolo, McCaffrey, Smith, Metcalf, Smith, Lockett, Burrow, Higgins, Burrow, Pirine, Garoppolo, Samuel, Murray, Hopkins, Herbert, Allen, Brady, Evans. Three-man ones, Tua, Wilson, and Hill. Tua, Hill, and Waddle. Tua, Wilson, and Waddle. Carr, Jacobs, and Adams. Smith, Metcalf, and Lockett, or Smith, Walker, and Metcalf. Smith, basically the combinations of those. I'm not sure why I put it like that. Then Herbert, Eckler, and Allen, again, two superstars, Garoppolo, McCaffrey, and Samuel, Burrow, Pirine, and Higgins, Smith, Metcalf, and Lockett. Oh, so there was Smith, Walker, Metcalf, Smith, Walker, Lockett. Murray, Connor, and Hopkins, Brady, White, and Evans. On to their projections of DFS ownership. This is from 10 a.m.-ish. So they may change, but these are the ones that they had over, like 9% generally, 8% depending on the position. The extremes were Wilson and Tyreek Hill. So that being so high, if that comes in that high, that's a decision you have to make. I mean, obviously he looks like a good play with Mostert being out, but if half the people have him and he doesn't come in at all, you've got a huge edge. Of course, is he going to get at least like 15 points or something? Probably. Same thing with Hill. I mean, Hill would probably be Hill. I mean, it's hard to fade sometimes these. You just got to keep it in mind. And the KC defense, now that probably is an easier fade because so many defenses can come in. And if you get the one that has 20 points and they don't, that one I would say would be a fade. It's up to you really. But so Geno, Tua, Herbert, Mahomes, and Burrow. You can see the running backs here, wide receivers. Tight ends, Moreau, Andrews, Kelsey, and Hurst. KC, Jets, Broncos, Miami. These are pretty high also for Walker and White on running backs. Eckler, Jacobs, Gibson, Murray, Connor, Pirine, Henry, Adams, Allen, McLaurin, Higgins, Lockett, Wilson, Palmer, Waddle, Hopkins, Metcalf, Burks, Godwin. Some of these may change, I have a feeling, a little bit. As far as their optimal, so this is when they ran with the salary, the DFS salary, who came in the most times. Tua, Jackson, Smith, and Mahomes. They've liked Lamar every week and he hasn't come in that much, so I'm sort of fading him, even though they like him again this week. Tua and Smith seem like the best plays, obviously. Wilson, blue is like they came in a very high amount. Green, they came in a high amount. Yellow, a decent amount. Walker, Jacobs, and Pirine, Eckler. Then also Etienne, White, Murray, McCaffrey, Henry, Gibson, and Carter. Wide receivers, Hill, and then also Waddle and Adams. Then Debo, Samuel, and Higgins. Metcalf, Lockett, McLaurin, Hopkins, Kelsey, and Andrews. Chiefs, and the Jets. So their leverage, this is where their projections have them in the optimal more than the public. So the blue are the biggest ones. So basically, you could say their best play, so to speak, for gaining leverage on the field would be Pirine at running back and Debo. They also like Lamar, Jacobs, Etienne, McCaffrey, Kamara, Carter, and Henry. Waddle, Hollywood Brown, Ayuk, Metcalf, and Kirk. Kelsey. Of course, you can't always fit all these in as part of the point. And the 49ers and the Bengals defenses. Including also Garoppolo, Mahomes, Brissett, White, Mariota, some of these very small. Gesicki, Disley, Otten, Baltimore, Cleveland, Carolina, Miami defenses. As far as their actual value per point, what they had as of, like I said, as of 10 a.m., I believe the orange. Oh, this is just putting salary, like green are under 5,000, I think, and orange are under 6,000. But in order, it's like Tua, Smith, Herbert, Garoppolo, Mahomes, Jackson, Carr, Brady, Heineke, and Brissett. So orange ones are under 6,000 DraftKings salary. Green are under 5,000. Wilson, Walker, Pirine, Jacobs, Eckler, White, Gibson, Murray, Etienne, Carter, Hill, Waddle, Adams, Higgins, McLaurin, Lockett, Samuel, Metcalf, Hollins, Wilson, Burks, Collins, Carter. Tight ends, Kelsey, Andrews, Conklin, Dulcich, Moreau, Gesicki, Kmet, and Higbee. Defenses, KC, the Jets, Miami, Atlanta, Carolina. Just some defense first position. It depends on where you look that up, but I'm not going to go over all. I was just noting down some of them here that have better. And this is taken into account by a lot of things, like Herbert, Carr, Smith, Burrow, Jackson, Lawrence, Mariota, Murray should have good matchups. Wilson, White, Connor, Carter, Murray, Walker, Jacobs, the Rams, Baltimore, Washington, Eckler, McLaurin, Higgins, Rams, Kirk, Schuster, London, Baltimore, Olave, Sutton, Cooks, Ayuk, Godwin, Cooper, Seattle, Everett, Houston, Moreau, Arizona, Seattle, Njoku, Thomas, Hooper, Gesicki, Higbee, Ingram, KC, Jets, San Francisco, Miami, Denver, Atlanta, Carolina, Chicago. This is from a couple different places combined. So ones I like, I need to enter lineups some more, and there's a ton of names listed on here, but I would say you want to have all these players covered if you're doing multiple lineups. But quarterbacks, probably this group: Tua, Smith, Mahomes, Herbert, Murray, and Burrow. And you have the salaries here. The greens are probably the ones that stood out the most. But then yellow are ones that have low salaries also, or low ownership projections also. So yeah, Tua seems like pretty much the best bet at 6,900. And that's not a massive ownership on him. Running backs: Walker, Montgomery, Connor, Jacobs. And this really isn't in an order. It sort of is in salary order, but some of them, it's not totally in order. I went back and looked. The green ones I would say are the ones I probably like the best. But Walker, Montgomery, Connor, Jacobs, Henry, Eckler, Etienne, Wilson, that's Jeff Wilson, Pirine, Foreman, Pacheco, Carter, Gibson, White, Robinson, Murray, Williams on the Rams, and Akers on the Rams. These are ones I literally don't have on here who are high salaried. So I'm fading these people so they may come back and bite me. Like Chubb, I tend to play every week, and Kamara, and Brady, McCaffrey, Chubb, Kamara. I mean, that could come back and bite me. On ownership of those, Montgomery 4%, Etienne 7%, Pacheco 4%. Those are below 10 of the ones I highlight in green. Wide receivers, I went down deep because I'm always looking for those really cheap ones. But Hill, Waddle, Metcalf, Lockett, Kirk 5%, Higgins, Cooper 4%. Cooper, guys like Cooper and Sutton won me contests that big contest. They were sort of middle price ones. A lot of people, ignore the middle price players. And this happened to be, and then, quite often it does work good to have the 8,000 and like the 3,000, but sometimes the middle ones come in. This is why it's good to use a variety of strategies in your team formations, because sometimes the middle price guys do come in and can win you contests. But Kirk 5%, Cooper 4%, Aiyuk 3%, Adams, Godwin 9, Schuster 7, Sutton 6, Palmer, Brown, Peoples-Jones, Hollywood Brown 3%, Peoples-Jones 5, Jefferson on the Rams 3. Some of the cheaper guys also going down here: Palmer, Hollins, Landry, Wilson, Burks, Collins 6%, Valdez-Scantling, Marshall, Carolina. Sometimes I put the team for myself because there's a bunch of guys. Carter on the Chargers 5%, Moore on Houston 4%, Hinton on Denver, Godwin, Seattle, Skowronek. Oh, and Mike Evans, I had to put on. I have the worst. I just never am right with him. So I had him on the fade list this week, but he might come in with a big week. When I pick him, he does terrible. When I don't, sometimes he does good. Robinson, Baltimore. Tight ends. I faded here Andrews, Kittle, Everett, and Kmet. Sort of salary. What reason? Ones I like: Kelsey and Njoku. Johnson on New Orleans keeps up putting numbers, and nobody's forecast unless there's something I don't know about some of these guys. 1%. Njoku 6, Dulcich 7, Hooper 1%. But there's a lot of tight ends. I think you want a lot of diversity here and a lot of diversity in your defenders, especially when you're going for these cheap ones, because if the one guy goes off for 20 points, that can be big. Same thing with the defense. The quarterbacks, there's not that many that can get 25, 30 plus points generally. But Otten, Hurst, Ingram, Higbee, Gesicki, Moreau, Fant, Conklin, McBride, Thomas, and Akins. Defenses, I left off the Chargers and Bengals as two of the more expensive ones, but I covered a lot of the other ones on here. Denver, the Jets, Rams, Jacksonville, Redskins, Seattle, and New Orleans. When I kind of looked at those later, they looked pretty good. Ownership 8%, 3%, 3%, 2%, 2%, but also Bears, Rams, 49ers, Miami, Baltimore, Carolina, Atlanta, Tennessee, Tampa Bay. All right, sorry I rushed through that so fast. You can pause it if you want any of the particular, go through any of the particular. This is all from it's all from a premium DFS projection site that has had some really nice calls this year. And then the bottom was just ones that I want to make sure I put in my lineups type of thing. All right, have a good one. Good luck on the game slate today. Let me know if you hit anything big.